afterwards at noon, we will have Derek Fisher, Candace Parker, and Taya Cooper from the practice facility. The first question will go to Miriam Swanson with the LA Daily News.
Hi, Marie.
Hey.
Hey, hope you're doing all right. Yeah, so I mean, obviously you're new to this organization, and you've got Sydney, who's I'm sure filled you in quite a bit. But just kind of what have you learned about the Sparks culture so far? What's the feel of the team, and what are you learning that's maybe different from other programs you've been with?
I feel like it's just a very caring program. They really care about us as athletes and the way we feel. I feel like this entire situation right now is very unique with the bubble going on, but also with the pandemic and the social movements. So just them listening to us and hearing us, like I think we as players really feel heard within the organization. So I think that's one of the biggest things I've noticed as a player, that I've just been heard and listened to, and I haven't really been around the team that much yet, so I can't say that much, but I always felt like the communication was great. Everyone always reached out and made sure that everyone is doing good and that I'm doing good, even like when I'm quarantining. So I always felt very welcomed, even though I didn't have like the eye-to-eye conversation. Eli, you're on mute.
Oh, go ahead, Hugh.
Hi, Marie. It's Hugh Hopkins of Double Clutch in the UK. Nice to see you. You've joined a team with probably really high expectations, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on is there much pressure for you coming into this team and playing alongside the likes of the cast of teammates that you've got there, which you know is like all-star level worthy starting five almost?
I wouldn't say it's pressure. I think it takes the pressure away to have teammates like that. I mean, they're amazing people, like even on the court, like I watch them play and they have so much poise and quietness to their game. Like you just see how they move and they just know what they're doing. So I'm excited to like learn from them and just like get insight, and they've been through so many highs and lows through their careers, and I'm just in the beginning of it, so I'm really excited to just like have communication with them and have conversations about growth and learning. And then off the court, they're inspiring people as well, like just on Zoom calls when we talk about different subjects, and just being mentally healthy, and their insight is so helpful. So I wouldn't say it puts pressure on me. I think it's more inspiring, and it's support, like having such a big group of like inspiring, talented, and people, that takes the pressure off rather than putting the pressure on, because you have people who just show up every day.
Thank you. We'll go over to Holly Rowe with ESPN.
Hello, Marie. Just wanted to get a base kind of understanding for everybody. So forgive me if this is a repetitive question, but where were you when the kind of pandemic and everything shut down? What did you do during it, mentally and physically? And then what has been your kind of reintroduction to the US and to the Sparks?
I played in Poland, in Gdynia, and so our season got basically ended right before playoffs. So I flew back home to Germany, and I quarantined in Germany from March to June. And so I couldn't go play basketball or do anything. It was basically the same as here. Everything shut down, and there weren't really possibilities to really work out. It was all home workouts. And I haven't really had a day off. So like the first couple of weeks I really took off, and I really thought about what do I want to achieve in this time. And I focused on my nutrition and on my mental health. I started working with a basketball mental coach just to like work on a few things, just mentally wise, just getting mental reps and preparing mentally for a season rather than physically. and I changed my nutrition, just changed my routines, and just tried to get my body, like try to get to know myself and my body a little bit better. I really used that time to just like take some time off of basketball physically, but not mentally. So I tried to like prepare mentally for a season. And then coming to the States, I just had to quarantine for 14 days. So I was just in a hotel for 14 days and just waiting so I could come out. And that was like my transfer to the US. And then I met the team for a couple days, and yeah.
Go over to Max Hott with German DPA.
Hey Marie, this
Hi.
is Max. Nice to meet you. I was wondering if you can tell any similarities or differences to what the German Basketball Bundesliga did with their tournament and how you guys are set up now.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. I feel like I haven't really followed the Bundesliga in Germany. So like I'm assuming it was the same idea of like just staying in a hotel and then commuting to the gym to play. I feel like this entire concept in the US is a little bit bigger and a little bit more expanded. We actually have like an entire campus for ourselves. We can be outside. I think we're growing into this experience right now as an entire organization. I think they're just like, it's just like learning as we go what we need and what we need to change. But as of right now, I think the league and the WNBPA did an amazing job just organizing everything and making sure that everyone feels comfortable and that health and security is like a main priority.
Time for one or two more. Any other questions? Just please raise your hand. We have time for one or two more. I'll give it about 10 seconds here. See if anyone else. Okay, Holly, we'll back. We'll give Holly and Max each one more question, and that'll be it for today. Holly?
Hey, I just wanted to kind of follow up on what you said about getting together with your mental conditioning coach and someone to help you with your mental health, because that's such a great topic right now in our country. Can you give me some examples, whatever you're comfortable sharing, but things you really wanted to dig into and work on that you're taking with you into this season?
I think what I've struggled the most with during the time where we didn't even know if a season was happening was working out with purpose. And I found it hard to like just be at home and like be in my living room working out. I had a hard time finding motivation and just figuring out like what is my goal here, like, and where's I didn't really have a time frame. So I was like, okay, when do I really start working out, like at a certain level, and at what level do I have to be? And I think what we figured out is that I didn't really need a time frame, and I didn't really need to work towards a season. I just needed to like work for myself. So everything I did during that time, working out wise, I just needed to figure out like, okay, like what do I want to get better at? And I just had to focus more on myself rather than like looking at like, okay, when does the season start? Because that actually stressed me out more than anything else, because there was no time frame, no end goal. So yeah, I think I've just focused on like doing things more for myself and for my benefit, and rather than like looking at a time frame and looking at when do I have to be ready. You're muted.
Hey Marie.
Last question for Marie. Go ahead, Max.
Thanks. Yeah, I was wondering, do you know Satu Sabali? Have you guys met yet? And what do you think, how important is it that there's somebody that's getting as much as attention as she does now for German basketball in general and German women's basketball?
Yeah, obviously I know Satu. We play together for the national team, and I haven't met her yet. I'm still quarantining so I'm in the bubble now, but I'm still in quarantine, so I haven't really been out, and because I got late here a little bit. So I haven't really met her yet, but in perspective of like for German basketball and for just the basketball community in Germany, I think Satu is really, really important just for us to like grow as a women basketball association in Germany, just to have that figure and to have somebody who speaks so loudly and proudly about her opinion and what she stands for. And she's doing an amazing job, and I support her and I have her back in every single way. So I really think that just her presence in Germany as a basketball player is really, really important.
All right. Thank you so much, Marie.
Thank you.
Good to go.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Questions for Coach Fisher. We'll start with Hugh Hopkins.
Hi, Coach. Hugh Hopkins from Double Clutch in the UK. Good to see you.
Hi.
I was wondering what you thought the expectations were for this team, and specifically what the expectations were for Candace Parker, and what type of veteran leader she needs to be on a team full of talented veterans. But I guess from the outside, the expectations seem like they're pretty high. And what you're going to need from her this season?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. I mean, I think under normal circumstances, our expectations would be really, really high. I think, we obviously want and always have championship aspirations. I don't think that has changed in terms of what our hopes are and what we feel like we're capable of accomplishing. But I do believe there are some real life things that we're going to have to manage in terms of, our expectations, right? Because our players have not been able to prepare themselves for a season that would possibly allow them to operate at their highest levels. And so I think we're going to have to be smart about what we expect, and I think come into this more just open-minded and willing to adjust and adapt to actually what we're seeing, and still find a way to get it done. And I believe that Candace is coming into this season healthier physically and mentally. She's in a much better place than she was at this point in training camp last year. In terms of what we expect from her, I think she's going to have a phenomenal season. I think she's going to be able to stay healthier, even though she's been, battling, trying to figure out ways to stay in great shape like everybody. But she looks really good. And I think her leadership is vital to the success of our team, because so many of our players, whether veteran or young players, still look to Candace as an anchor of who we are. So when she's going good and she's in a good place, it makes our team much, much better. She's utilizing her voice a lot with our young players, and I think our veterans respect her as well. And, as a coach, I'm looking forward to being able to take advantage of her versatility and some of the things that she can do, which at times was limited last year just because she wasn't physically able to do them.
Go over to Pavi with HMB Media.
How you doing, Coach?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. This being your second year in the league, second year with the Sparks, when you analyze, how last season went, what were some things that when you got to the offseason that you wanted to become better at as a coach for this year?
Yeah, I think for me, as a coach, I think continuing to understand the game here at the W, teams, tendencies, personnel, etc. But I think more important than that, the relationships within our own team and organization. I think that's really the only thing that limited us from excelling at a higher level last season. And that's the effort that in the off season, I think has been made and will continue to be made, is developing true, genuine connection and relationship with our players, our staff, the folks that run our organization, so that we really do feel like a family and that we're all in this working and going in the same direction. And that's an important piece. The great companies, organizations, teams, that's what you see. There's a shared vision, there's an alignment in the culture and the way you want to do things. And so for me, from year one to year two, doubling down on who we are and our culture and the type of people we want to be, the performance will kind of follow those things. And so I think we're a much better team already just because of our relationships being stronger.
I will go over to Michelle Vopel with ESPN.
Yeah, Coach Fisher, how do you see this team that you have now being different than the team you envisioned, obviously back in February, where, you know, you're thinking Christy and Shanae are going to be playing? How is this team different, or what are the biggest challenges of adjusting to what you were sort of planning for then?
Yeah, I think from a roster perspective, you know, Christy Tolliver's ability to play the game and impact the game was something that you know, I had big plans for. You know, Chelsea had to carry so much weight last season for us that we really prioritized adding a player in free agency. You know, that could really help elevate our backcourt play and the consistency in terms of ball handling, decision making. You know, level of leadership and mental and physical toughness that Christy brings. So that is definitely a void that we're going to have to fill together. You can't choose one player to replace Christy Tolliver. So that'll be by committee. We're excited that Taya Cooper, although she's a rookie, does bring us some guard play that we like, that we feel like she can really provide for us. But I think the expectations for Raquana Williams will have to be higher without Christy, right? That her talents, her abilities, her skills, we'll need to find ways to bring out more this season. Chanae, what she does defensively for us in terms of her activity, you know, supporting her teammates, her rebounding, those are things that we're going to miss as well. Rashonda Gray can fill the void a little bit in terms of rebounding and her activity. She plays the game with a level of physicality, but Shanae's also a joyful person, and you need that within the framework of a team. And we also feel lucky that Rashonda has some similarities in terms of her personality, the quality and integrity of who she is. So we still feel like we're in good shape, but you know, we're going to miss two All-Stars for sure.
Last question for Coach Tukney with the LA Times.
Hey, Coach, I guess this is a simple question, especially to end on, but you were talking about the unorthodox preparation, let's call it unorthodox preparation of the season. So now that you have a few days of practice, just how does this team look physically, knowing that yesterday they set the schedule and you guys have to start playing games in 11 days?
Yeah, no, I think that, you know, like I said yesterday, maybe day before, you know, we're behind just like everybody is, I think, physically. But we're starting to catch up a little bit this week. You know, we've been really intentional about our start here in terms of how long we're practicing, the things we're doing in practice, really to give our players a chance for their minds, their bodies, their spirits to be fully present here and to build themselves up. You can't just pick up and start playing elite level basketball after being off for several months. And so I think we're in a good place, but obviously the goal is to get to a great place. So there's still a gap there that we'll have to fill, but we have to be smart about it. The first week of the season, we play 4 games from Saturday to Saturday. So as much as we want to get after it and push ourselves to catch up, you don't want to do that. That starts you at a deficit. And by the time you get to the end of the first week, you know, you don't have any bodies left to throw out there. So we'll figure it out, though. We're all in this together. Every team's facing a lot of the same things, and so we can't complain at all. And if we want to be the best, we'll have to figure it out.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we're going to get started. Questions for Candace Parker. We'll start with Brady Klopper with SB Nation.
Candace, you mentioned a few days ago on social media that the champion deserves an exclamation point rather than an asterisk. I'm just wondering, with only 22 games, obviously there's all the uncertainty and all the question marks of the bubble and obstacles there, but with just a shortened schedule, what do you feel is the key, both individually and as a team, for getting out of the gates hot and being able to have success even though you have 14 fewer games? Is that something you do schematically, or is that something where maybe you and NECA and Chelsea just have to shoulder a little bit of a heavier load, or what goes into succeeding in a short season?
this bubble in itself, to answer the first part of your question with the exclamation point, I mean, I think everybody here is kind of fighting individual battles, just with what's going on individually in the world, where we're at. So I think this season especially isn't an asterisk, it's an exclamation point, just because of all the factors and outside things that are going on that kind of determine who's here and who's not for the season. Everybody that's here wants to be here, and you know, we don't fault the people that aren't, but I definitely don't think that it's a season that is going to be easier than any other ones, or an exception. So with that being said, individually, I think it's health for me, and it's always been that. If I can keep my body healthy, then I can play. And I think as a team, that's our mindset, is to go in a shortened season and be healthy. You know, a lot of people, I think, looked at the negatives of the bubble. And for me, as an older player, I looked at it as a positive. I mean, we're not traveling. We're not going to have to recover on a flight after a back-to-back. We're not going to have to get up early and travel. On the ride to practice in LA is an hour for me. So that's sitting on my back and putting pressure on that. Everything is here. We're able to kind of have a tunnel vision of focus. And so I think those are two things that our team has struggled with in the past, and it's kind of forced on us now.
John W. Davis, the Winsider.
Good West Coast morning, Candace. How you doing?
How you doing?
Good. Can you kind of talk to me about this season? And then maybe I'm wrong, but if I'm wrong, correct me. But it seems like this season is one of the first, if not the first season, that you and your daughter can really share like a total love of basketball. It seems like that as she continues to get older, like right now is when she's finally deciding that, like, oh, I actually love basketball and I love watching mommy play. Because before it seemed like she was kind of just, she was playing, but now she's really developing the love for it that I know you have.
Honestly, this season is really special to me, just because after, you know, last season and going into the off season, she kind of picked up the game a lot, and she was really excited about this season. I mean, as early as December, she was like, I can't wait to go back to Staples and watch you play. And she had never said that before. And she normally has an iPad, and we try to get her to watch 2 or 3 quarters without her iPad. And now she's, you know, into it, and she's playing 2K, and she's playing with LA Sparks on 2K. And so it's really fun when you're able to kind of share your passion with your kids, and for her to be old enough now to really, really remember. And now it's my responsibility. Like, she's watching everything I do. When I watch her on the floor, I see myself, and, you know, it's good and some of it's bad. And so it's just, you know, when I'm talking to the refs, she's talking to the refs too. And so I think it's, she's teaching me a lot too at this point in my career. Is, you know, she's she's actively watching, and it's important for me to be a role model for her.
We'll go over to Howard Megdal with Next Hoops.
Candace, thanks for taking the time to chat with us. You know, you and I have talked a lot about your legacy through the years, and I guess I wonder if you've thought about how significant it is for you to be part of this season, which obviously is unlike any other before it, and whether your presence here is significant in your mind, both from a basketball perspective and just from a personal emotional perspective, as you process what 2020 ends up being for everyone.
I think it's important for me to want to be here, and I wanted to. I don't think these are ideal situations and circumstances that any of us could have predicted, and especially with what this year is, you know, and everything that's going back on in LA right now, with everything kind of closing back down, the uncertainties. But it's weird because, you know, everybody's in this bubble and we're kind of in a different space, but basketball has been something that I've always leaned on my entire career, my entire life, really. When things aren't going well, I look to that for joy. And as much anticipation and hesitation that there has been going into the season, when we got here and we stepped on the floor, I mean, I was smiling the entire time, just because the joy you have from basketball. It just brings back so many memories, and there's so much opportunity. And so I think just being here, it kind of eased a little bit of the burden of 2020 and all the pressures when you're in between the line and kind of able to play the game that you love.
Michelle Vopel, ESPN.
Candace, if I could ask you a little bit bigger picture question. Obviously, Kara Lawson just got the Duke job. Nikki McCray is at Mississippi State. You have a very prominent career as an analyst. Can you just give me your perspective on what you think the footprint is of several of you who, you know, are carrying on Pat's legacy in different ways, but in a very, very big picture way and a very visible way?
I think it's so important. And, you know, you talk about legacy, and to me, you know, it's what you leave behind, and it's what you leave in the people. It's part of you that you leave behind. And I know all of us are different, but we all embody characteristics and Pat, you know, in us. And I know she would be proud because she really emphasized, you know, working hard, you know, finding your path and dedicating yourself to people and passion. And I could still hear her say that, you know, that if you spend your entire life fighting to have people and passion, then you'll never fail. And, you know, it's really cool for me to see and look around of, you know, all the branches of the Lady Vol program, and, you know, what it's all because of Coach Summit.
Time for one more for Candace today. We'll go over to Sue Favor.
Hey, hi, Candace. Great to see you. I was going to ask you kind of a bigger question too, as far as, you know, now that you're a veteran and you've got the all changing personnel this year as usual. What's your role on the team this year, and especially compared to maybe when you first came into the league? How is your role this year as opposed to, say, previous years with the unusual circumstances?
I don't know if my role is any different, honestly, Sue. I feel as though when I stepped into the league, there was expectations, and even now there's expectations. I think when I stepped into the league, people were asking whether I would be able to compete and play the way that I knew I could. And then now those are those same questions. And I really like a challenge. And I know that there's a lot of challenges going forth in this season, and there's a lot of, I would say, question marks after last. And all I do is control the things I can control. I don't know if I have a role. I would hope that, that for me, it's just demonstration every day of competing. And I think it's also, honestly, Sue, just doing my job of taking care of my body off the court. I think that's my biggest role, is just to make sure that I can be on the court to help my teammates.
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you, Eli.
All right, we're going to get started. Questions for Taya Cooper. Again, please use the raise hand function. We'll go over to Miriam Swanson with the LA Daily News.
Hi, Taya. Hope you're doing good. Hey, so a question for you: being on a team with some, you know, pretty big names in women's basketball. What are you learning from some of these ladies, and I guess specifically, what have you picked up so far from Candace Parker?
Well, I'm on a team full of phenomenal vets, so not only just Candace, just everybody on the team is just so efficient and real particular with everything that they do. So just even from warm-ups and them coming an hour early and getting their bodies prepared to practice to everything being on point and efficient in practice, I mean, I've learned a lot.
Cameron Buford, what's good in sports?
Hi, Taya. This is Cameron. How's it going?
Hello, it's going good. How are you?
I've got a question. I'm doing well, thank you. As WNBA remains on the forefront of sending positive messages that impact society, as a Black woman in professional sports, what would be your message you'd like to send to the youth of America and the world, for that matter?
Just keep going. You know, you never lose until you quit. So just keep fighting for everything that we're fighting for, and just keep going, just stay consistent, and, you know, hopefully change will happen if we keep going.
Chris Camello, Nightfall Media.
Yeah, Taya, well, obviously, congrats on making it to the Sparks already this season. Obviously, this team has got high expectations, and with Christy Tolliver, longtime veteran, former WNBA champion, sitting out this season, how do you feel like this is your opportunity to try to step in and show, even as a rookie, what you can do at the WNBA level and for a team that has championship aspirations?
You know, really, I'm excited just to be here and just to be around them. So just giving all my energy to them and pouring into them is going to help me. So just really being a part and enjoying my teammates and the situation that I'm in, that's all I really want to do. And that's what I'm going to take from this experience, and just being selfless, really.
Sabrina Merchant, SB Nation.
Hi, Taya.
Hi.
I'm curious what the relationship has been like with Derek Fisher so far, because he's another point guard and he had a really long career, you know, professionally. What has that give and take been like for you so far?
He's awesome. We've had individual workouts for a couple hours, so I spent a lot of time with him on, you know, the reads that he wants, what I should be looking for, just being a point guard or just being a guard period in the league, and shots that you're gonna get, stuff that they're probably gonna stop, feeling the defense and what passes to make. So he's a great person off the court and on the court. So being able to talk to him is real natural, it's real normal, it just feels comfortable. So I love it. I love it, and I love being coached by him. So.
Time for two more today. We'll go to Hugh Hopkins.
Hi, Tay. Hugh Hopkins from the UK. Good to see you. As sort of spoke loosely about it earlier, but as one of the younger players coming in, I guess I wanted to know what your first experiences were seeing professionals, you know, in training compared to, like, you know, your college days, and yeah, what is it like seeing players like Candace Parker, especially, you know, and going up against them?
Well, when I was at Tennessee, Candace would come and play with us, so I was kind of used to seeing Candace, but I think NECA and Simone and Pratt and Bebe and all them, they've been new to me. So just seeing their energy and their communication and how helpful they are and energized they are every day, I think has been very fun to watch and be a part of.
Last question for today, John W. Davis with Winsider.
Good West Coast morning to you, Taya. Question for you. Can you kind of talk to me about telling your own story? I know that you're active on IG and YouTube. Kind of talk to me about telling your own story in the Wubble and some of the different things that you're doing.
Really, it's not as bad as it may seem to some people. I mean, yeah, we get tested a lot, but I mean, that's just for safety purposes. But other than that, everybody's here. We're all working. We get to eat, we get to chill. There's a pool. It's kind of like a vacation with basketball. So that's my experience. I brought some of my favorite shoes. We get to get dressed up. I mean, there's not really much to do, so I enjoy that. And I get to eat what I want. So I'm pretty having a easy experience at the Bubble.
Thank you, Taya. You're good to go.